Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salutation, honorable judges, respected oppositions, and fellow viewers. Today, I am going to show you my motions and my arguments on the motions, which is in areas prone to disasters. This house believes that states should prioritize disaster mitigations over relocations. First, when we're talking about disaster-prone areas, we firmly believe that the state should prioritize disaster mitigations over relocations. At first glance, maybe sound like the easiest and most permanent solutions. Many people think that if an area is dangerous, the answer is just to move everyone else on the other place. On paper, that idea sounds clean and effective, but real life is not that simple, does it? Relocation is not just about moving people from one place to another. It is a long, expensive, and complicated process that often creates new problems instead of solving the existing ones. Meanwhile, disaster mitigation focuses on making the communities safer where they already live through their better planning, stronger infrastructures, and faster emergency responses. Today, I will explain why the state should focus on the mitigation rather than relocations based on three important reasons: time, cost, and the impacts on people's lives. First, time. Time is something we simply do not have. It's the matter of the facts. Relocations takes far too long. Many people imagine relocations as giving families new houses and making them to move in. But moving an entire community is much more complicated than that. The government has to acquire land, settle legal issues, build homes, construct roads, and provide essential facilities such as schools, hospitals, electricity, and water system. This process does not happen in a few months. It can take years, even decades. And during those years, what happened to the people who are still waiting? They remain exposed to floods, earthquakes, landslides, and other disasters. They continue living under the same risk while waiting for the government project and bureaucracy to move forward. Time becomes the biggest problems. Disaster mitigation, in the other hand, works much faster. Instead of waiting years for relocation plans to be completed, governments can improve early warning systems, reinforce buildings, create disaster education programs, and establish clear evacuation routes immediately. This action can be implemented now and can start saving lives right away. Think about it this way. If a community faces floods, risks every rainy seasons, it is better to spend 10 years relocating them or to strengthen flood barriers and warning systems that protect them these years. Long way or the short way, but better? The answer is clear. Mitigation respond to urgency. Relocations delay the protection. And when disaster can happen tomorrow, waiting is a luxury we do not have. Our second point is cost. Money. We need money. Relocation is extremely expensive. Moving an entire population requires enormous amount of public money. Government must purchase land, build a housing, develop transportation system, and create completely new infrastructure. These projects cost billions and require long-term maintenance. Still, on the topic of time, that money comes from public budgets. Money that could have been used for healthcare, education, poverty eradication, or disaster preparedness. Sometimes, relocation can feel like pouring huge money into a project that only helps a limited number of communities, while leaving many others vulnerable. Mitigation offers a smarter, and I say smarter, of resources. Instead of spending massive budgets of moving a small number of people, government can invest in stronger buildings, drainage systems, coastal protections, emergency trainings, modern warning technologies that protects far more people at a lower cost. This does not mean money should never be spent. Oh, no, of course not. Governments must invest in safety. But the real question is, where can that investment create the greatest impact? If one mitigation project protects thousands of families, while relocation programs have only a small group after a years of spending, then mitigation becomes the more practical and efficient choice. It's no-brainer. A responsible government should not only talk about spending money, it should think about spending money wisely. Now, our final and perhaps most important point, you cannot simply move people's lives. It's not who they are, and they are not toys that the government can play with. Communities are not just dots on a map. They are built through history, culture, livelihood, and social relationships. This is something relocation policies often overlook. Like they are on top of them. They are not to be looked at. When people are forced to move, they are not leaving their houses behind. They are leaving their neighbors, tradition, workplace, memories, and support system. Imagine a fisherman. They depend on the sea for income. If he is relocated to far inland, how will he continue working? How will he get a fish? Imagine a farmer, the simplest, the most you can look to a job that needs a land. Imagine a farmer move away from a further land. What's happened to the livelihood? Relocation may give someone new address, but it does not automatically give them back their way of life. And this matters because economic survival and emotional well-being are closely connected places. Communities grow through trust and shared experiences built over generations. Families rely on nearby relatives. Small businesses depend on local customers. Religious or cultural traditions are connected to specific places and environments. When relocations break these networks apart, people often face unemployment, financial hardship, and emotional stress. So, we must ask ourselves, is safety only about moving people physically? Or is safety about protecting dignity, stability, and community? We believe true safety means protecting both life and livelihoods. Now, to be fair, we can recognize the relocation may sometimes be necessary. These areas are where risks are simply too extreme and permanent to manage effectively. In those cases, relocation may be unavoidable. However, the motion today is about the priority, and as priority, mitigation should come first. And that's it for me. Currently, thank you for watching, and thank you for the honorable judges and fellow oppositions.